यूक्रेन की राजधानी कीव सहमी हुई है, डरी हुई है, लगातार धमाकों की आवाज़ आ रही है और आम लोग यहाँ से सुरक्षित निकलने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं अपने घरों से, और ख़ास तौर पर उन इलाकों से जहाँ पर गोलीबारी हो रही है या ख़ास तौर पर धमाकों की आवाज़ बहुत ज़्यादा है। लोग अपने सामान के साथ साथ अपने पेट्स को भी लेकर निकले हैं और कुछ इस तरीके की तस्वीर यहाँ से लेकर हर जगह पे देखी जा सकती है। ख़ास तौर पर लोग सबवे स्टेशंस पे, मेट्रो स्टेशंस पे की तरफ जा रहे हैं। वहाँ पर उनकी कोशिश होती है कि वो मेट्रो स्टेशन के अंदर जो कि बॉम्ब शेल्टर्स की तरह इस्तेमाल हो रहे हैं वहाँ रुक सकें, वहाँ ठहर सकें। बहुत सारे लोग इस समय बॉम्ब शेल्टर्स के तौर पर उन सबवेज में हैं, मेट्रो स्टेशन में हैं। और हम बात करेंगे, क्या नाम, व्हाट्स योर नेम?
Catherine Kunjaj, Katya.
So Catherine, we saw you standing here waiting for some vehicle or some assistance, and you know these pretty girls are with you.
Yes.
So you chose to travel with them.
Yeah, I mean, I know that there are going to be a lot of abandoned pets at this point, and I didn't want to contribute to that. I feel bad because they don't like traveling, obviously, but there we are.
And what happened? What made you leave your apartment?
Well, so basically, I work for an American employer, and they basically decided that it was important to try to get me out. It was more important to get me out than to have me here delivering information from a city that was being surrounded. So I got a call this morning around 6, and I was sort of really bleary, and I didn't even know if I wanted to come. But yeah, I packed up.
Did you also hear the thundering sounds of the shelling?
Yeah, no, I mean, all night, basically, on and off, we heard shelling. There were some quiet points, but, I mean, I would say from about 4 o'clock onwards, I heard pretty constant explosions, and then also later in the morning, a lot of shootouts right on my street, sort of further up my street. So yeah, it was pretty nerve-wracking. That said, I mean, when I went outside...
I heard that there was shooting around the Victory Square. So do you live around that area?
Yeah, that's where I live. Yeah, I live right on Victory Square, and right on Prospect Перемоги. And if you go a bit further down Prospect Перемоги, then that's where there was some shooting. Oh.
And how are you going to carry them? What are their names?
Their names are Danusia, Lugana, and Roshen. And Danusia and Lugana are named after the two eastern provinces of Ukraine that are in Donbass, Donetsk and Lugansk. And Roshen is named after Poroshenko's chocolate company. Not that I'm a supporter of Poroshenko, but I thought it was a good name for her.
And what's so lovely that you live in Kyiv?
Yeah, I do live in Kyiv. Yeah, I've worked here for 4 years.
So, what a sad situation that Ukraine has to lose Donetsk and Luhansk in such a state. And what are your emotions about this situation right now?
I mean, it's horrible. It's horrible. There are no words to describe it, really. I mean, I've spent 4 years sort of writing clever analysis about ways that this conflict could potentially be de-escalated, and sort of trying to warn that the situation in Donetsk and Lugansk, while there was sort of low-level fighting there, that it wasn't sustainable. It wasn't. It wasn't sort of morally sustainable or sustainable from a security context to just keep the fighting going there. The way the sides had evidently, the way some actors on both of the sides or all sides had evidently decided to do.
Catherine, do you think, what actually went wrong in this conflict? It actually escalated. Nobody thought that this would, come to this level, this end.
I think that there are a lot of factors at play. I mean, I think one big factor has been the consequences of the pandemic and the way it's closed off ties between people. It put a stop to the peace process. It put a stop to, which was obviously already going very badly. But I mean, it sort of put the nail in the coffin. It put a stop to any in-person negotiations in the so-called Minsk Trilateral Contact Group. It led to Ukraine's President Zelensky being basically completely overstretched. He was already politically inexperienced, but he was completely unequipped to handle a pandemic and then to follow through on his promises to find a diplomatic solution. And then there's a crazy dictator in Russia.
Across people saying that, Zelensky was a comedian. He was a TV star turned politician. Do you think that some people, voicing their concern and now feel that, maybe like an inexperienced politician having at such a crucial time was not the appropriate decision?
Yeah, no, sure. I mean, a lot of people are saying that there are a lot of supporters of the previous president Poroshenko who sort of, who are saying that, this is what they've been saying all along. On the other hand, I mean, we've also had 2 years of basically isolation of a crazy dictator in Russia being increasingly isolated and increasingly out of touch with reality, probably. And so I think it was a horrible storm.
Thank you for talking to us, Catherine, and maybe may you get to a safe place with these pretty girls.
Yes, thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you.
तो कैथरीन कीव की रहने वाली हैं। अपने अपार्टमेंट के आसपास शूटिंग के बाद वो सुरक्षित जगह पर निकली अपनी इन 3 कैट्स के साथ में, और ये के परिवार के सदस्य की तरह हैं। अपने सामान के साथ वो इन्हें भी लेकर घर से निकली हैं सुरक्षित जगह पर जाने के लिए। और रोचक बात यह है कि इनमें से 2 कैट्स के नाम लुहांस और दानियास के नाम पर रखे गए हैं। कैमरामैन मुकेश के साथ प्रणय उपाध्याय, कीव, एबीपी न्यूज़।